Hey everyone, how are y'all? Betty Joe, how are you? All right, y'all don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Put your chat on live chat. Let's see if Nightbot is going to do his job. King, no, I do not think that BK's dad showed up. Hey Court, how are you? I think it was just his mom and his sister Amanda, I believe, is the only two that showed up. Hey Vapor, how are you? Avery, how are you? Sandra, how are you? Vapor, I am exhausted. Elsie, how are you tonight? All right, y'all don't forget to do the poll as well whenever y'all come in. Sandra, thank you. I appreciate that. Now Nightbot decides to show up, y'all. And I do apologize for not being live last night, but some dummy decided to bring a tractor and a bush hog wider than my road down the road yesterday to mow ditches that we don't have and took out the internet boxes. Two of them. So they finally got that fixed today. Yeah, it seems like I'm forgetting to do something. Just Don, how are you? Okay, so is there anyone in here who did not watch the sentencing today for Brian Kohberger? Hey Betty Joe, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Eh, I'm alright. I am tired. I know that.
Yeah, me too.
I need sleep. I slept all day Monday though. Like I was up early Monday morning. I slept all day Monday and that night, and I thought I'd be good for a little while, but damn, I'm exhausted. I see a bunch of parts. Yeah, King, you're never still long enough to watch a whole thing. Sally Mae, I hope your doctor's appointment went good. Okay, so wait. Let me make sure that I do have it before I tell y'all that I have it. Yes, I do have it. Do y'all want me to play the sentencing from today?
That's up to you.
Well, I mean, if there's King didn't get to watch the whole thing, um, they did take a 10-minute break. Hey, Commander, how are you? They did take a 10-minute break after HT. How are you? So HT says yes. After the Gonzalez family did their impact statements, y'all,
Yo,
Olivia,
she killed that. No, she killed
she,
that shit.
oh, that was a mic drop moment. But I will say, and I've seen this posted in Discord a few minutes ago. Kara got up there. Yeah, she looks so good.
Yeah, she done.
From the very beginning when this first happened to now, a huge change. Very proud of her in how she's changed her life around. And I know Xana's smiling down, proud of her as well. But
Oh yeah.
Olivia's statement, though, and
Yo, Olivia's my hero.
you could tell it pissed Bryan Kohberger off. He did not like the fact that there was a female that was talking to him like that.
It was so awesome.
She didn't miss a beat either.
No.
She didn't stutter. She got up here and said what she had to say, and then that very last line. Oh yeah, and if you wouldn't have snuck in their house in the middle of the night like a pedophile, Kaylee
Yeah.
would have kicked your ass. Or no, I'm sorry, kicked your fucking ass.
Yeah.
I
That
was
was
like,
so
damn. Carrot's a hard long road, but she just on that is true. She's doing really good. I'm very very proud of her and the turnaround that she's
actually
done.
they all did very well.
They did. I felt like uh, Maddie's dad. I think he was the one that didn't really have a speech, like something wrote down. He just
Mm,
kind of
yeah.
winged it and went with it. And there was somebody. Was it Xana's dad?
Yeah.
Might have been that they really didn't write anything down. They just spoke from the heart,
Yeah.
pretty much.
They all did really good though.
They did. Y'all, the judge was crying.
Yep. I think all of them except for the defense side was crying.
Anne couldn't even look at him. I kept
No.
watching her and Bryan and like what their body language and all that. Bryan was sitting there when Dylan came in and did hers. He had the the weirdest, most creepiest look on his face. How he just like a death stare at
Yeah.
her.
Well, did you see his one lawyer,
Which one?
with the dark hair sitting next to him,
Oh well,
where
massive.
she had like a
Agreeing
smile
the
on her
whole time.
face?
Yes, I know. I
Yeah.
don't. I was so whenever I first noticed it, I thought at first maybe she was smiling at something, but then as the hearing kept going, she had that same
Yeah.
smile. I don't know if it's just her facial expression and how like it's a permanent thing or whatever, but it looked very inappropriate.
Yes. And
Court,
then
it's kind of what it seemed like, Courtney. Just like that's her natural expression, but it like the way the camera was pointing at her and Brian and all them, it didn't look good.
and then him with his little smug look on his face and like moved his chair a few
Oh,
times.
he makes me sick. He just I don't know. And then he respectfully declined to make a statement. He should
Yeah.
have got up on his own and told it all. The judge said that he could not make him do it, and then the judge said, even if I could have, why do we assume that he's going to be telling the truth anyway? You
Exactly.
know, and so the bride still should have said something. At least, like they said, at least apologize. You
He can't
know,
even do that because he
no,
don't feel no remorse. He don't feel no
he
guilt.
there was absolutely no remorse on his face,
No.
none,
I get
no.
you're supposed to sit there and keep your posure, but come on, you've already admitted to it.
Right. Well,
Just
it's so
tell us.
like as far as like keeping his composure, if there was any remorse, if there would have been this situation, but he would have been crying and he would have shown remorse, I don't think that they would have said anything about that as much as
No.
showing nothing,
Yeah.
like just a blank stare through soulless eyes.
Yeah. Until Ann Taylor stood up and he looked at her. Oh my God. He
He,
creeps me out every time he looks at her like that.
yeah, he's not gonna like it though. I don't think when he can't, he doesn't get to talk to her and look at her and all that anymore.
Well, from what I posted in Discord, he's already been transferred to the prison.
Well, did you hear Steve say that he had found out uh, that I believe he said today at some point he would be taking like was it so many mile ride like it wasn't very far
No, it was
down from where they were at.
like 11 miles or something
Miles,
like that.
yes, something like that. So they must have went ahead and had his shit ready and transferred him. Hey, Jeremy, how are you?
Yeah.
See, new documents stated that Kaylee. Yes, Jeremy. So I have all the documents that Moscow PD has released on their website, and it does say that.
Yeah.
Tammy, how are you? It does say that, and I forgot which. And basically, it's mostly um, police reports, like you know what they
How
did
that
while
works.
on duty and stuff like that is pretty
Yeah.
much what it was. Um, but there is one or two of them in there from the day of the incident, and I forgot which one of them it was, but said that when he went up to the third floor and he was standing at the door looking at Kaylee and Maddie in the bed. Can one of the mods throw a trigger warning in the chat for me? Um, that the one on the left side, which would have been Kaylee, that
Right.
her face was so disfigured that he didn't even know what he was looking at.
Yeah.
It's how it said it in the
That's what
thing.
and that's what Steve said.
Yeah, thank you, Avery. Um, Steve did say that she had been hit with a knife 34 times.
Yep.
Uh, they are thinking that there is another weapon that was used on her face.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else
That or he
was
used
said.
the back end of that knife.
Yeah, I'm thinking that is a possibility that he could have done that. But she fought him.
Yep.
Xana fought him.
Yep.
Uh, one of the documents that I read said that where when we was reading over the PCA back in the day, and Dylan said that she thought she heard Kaylee say that there was someone here.
Yeah.
And one of the documents that I read tonight said that Dylan said that she thought that it was Kaylee who had said that there was someone here, and she thought she heard Kaylee run down the stairs past her room into Xana's room.
And it was actually Xana that ran
Xana,
down. Yep.
yeah. And so I was wondering it because we saw the her DoorDash bag
Yep.
that was left in the kitchen, and it's still not been confirmed if that DoorDash bag was from that early morning because we know she got a DoorDash delivery. Uh,
Right.
but I was,
No.
yeah, we don't know if that bag that was in all those pictures in the kitchen is from that delivery from that morning. But I was wondering though if it's a possibility that that could be the bag from her delivery. She went into the kitchen and maybe heard what was going on upstairs,
Mm-hmm.
thought
That's
maybe
what.
they were awake or something. She goes up the stairs and runs into him, and then he goes after her.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking.
Um, and I think that Ethan and Xana was, I don't want to say the wrong place at the wrong time because it was their house, or,
Right.
or Xana's house anyway. Um, so I don't want to say it like that.
I
But
would
I
say
think,
more like maybe collateral damage.
yeah, I think if maybe Xana wouldn't have went upstairs,
Right.
then her and Ethan would still be here.
Right.
I don't know. It was just it's a sad day because I don't I don't think they should have given him the plea deal.
Oh, there's a lot of us that don't.
I really don't think he should have gotten it. They should have, and I have seen a few different uh, uh, a few different YouTube channels that are just, oh my god, he's innocent, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like,
After still pleading guilty and he's still innocent. I don't get it.
Okay, I had to answer something back. Um, well, here's the thing: the state didn't go to the defense and ask or offer
No.
a plea deal.
Nope.
Um, the defense went to the state and asked for one. Hey, Clubbuck, how are you?
Yep.
Disgusted with this outcome. The system failed once again. Tammy, yes. And did y'all hear Kaylee's brother, Steven Gonzalez? He actually had a statement to read out in court today, and then he decided not to. So then that's when Olivia come up and did hers. But whenever the family got outside after court, and they asked if he wanted to read it, he went on ahead and read it, and he's talking about Bill Thompson's past, like some of his past cases that he has tried, and it was talking about how he's had the death penalty on the table, but then the outcome was either a plea deal or a lesser charge, and then he starts talking about it was like either two or three different cases, and one of them was of a lady that was pregnant who was murdered by her husband in her home, and the
Mm-hmm.
guy ended up getting like I think that was the one that he got ended up getting like manslaughter or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was just like that they were he was naming off all of these like his Bill Thompson's track record as far as the death penalty goes. And granted, he could not agree with the DP. Some people don't agree with it. That is, that's their opinion. That is fine. I respect it. Me personally, I think Bryan Kohberger should have went before the firing squad for what he did. There should have never been a plea offer.
Nope.
They should have been like, no, and even though the judge said that he could not make BK tell what happened, like he could not legally make him do it, but why wasn't it something that was put in the plea deal?
Exactly. It should have been put in the plea deal that
Well,
he is to say why and give up the knife and the clothes that he was wearing.
yes, because at that point it's like it's not making him do it, but if you want this plea deal, this is what we need. Like we
Yep.
need that that murder weapon.
Yep. I agree.
We need those clothes. You
I
know, and if he wanted the plea deal bad enough, because that was their whole thing, trying to get the death penalty taken off the table for a while. So if he really wanted it, he would have given it up. He either way, he's gonna spend the rest of his life in prison. Either way, either he's gonna die by natural causes or being taken out by an inmate or something like that, or he's gonna go before the firing squad. Either way, he's gonna spend the rest of his life in prison. Why not go ahead and give it up if you want the plea deal bad enough?
Yep.
So
I agree. But I believe he was scared to die and he didn't for some reason. I don't He didn't want his parents on that stand.
yeah, I could see that too. But I mean, here's the thing: you go murder four kids for
That's
absolutely no reason, but yet you're afraid to die. Hey, musical, how are you?
Yep. That's what I'm saying. You take four innocent students out of this world,
Mm-hmm.
but yet you are the biggest psychopath, predator, whatever you want to call him, and you're scared
Yeah,
to die for a crime that you committed.
yeah. He
Yeah,
wasn't scared. He wasn't scared to do it, but he was scared to face the consequences of it.
yeah. So I hope, and I mean this with every ounce of my heart, that he gets everything he deserves in prison.
I said it about him. I said it about Cockroach. People who have been dealing with know what this shit goes. PTSD. At King, yeah. I mean, at this point, it's pretty much over. I mean, it is over with.
Yeah.
Uh, if I do any more lives on this case, it's going to be the documents that came out. Um, I do have to check in with ISP, FBI, and the other one, Pullman, to get to see about getting their records that they have, because that's what was said today in the presser. Moscow is going to release the ones that they have, but you have to go to the other agencies to get the rest of them. So
Yeah.
I am going to try to get all of them that I can get. So if I do any more lives that has anything to do with the Idaho 4 case, it's only going to be on those documents.
Yeah, and it's going to take a while to get
Yeah.
them
Oh yes,
documents
Pennsylvania. That was the other one. Thank you, Avery. I knew I was forgetting one place.
because they have to go through them and
Yeah.
redact some of the
Redact.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Which some of the documents that I was reading tonight, they had a lot of names redacted, but I still knew who they were.
Yeah.
Because they didn't redact, like they redacted the name except for the first letter of the
Yeah.
first and last name. And if you've followed along with this case long enough, you know who those initials belong to.
Yeah.
And when you're reading the document and what they're talking about, you know exactly who the redacted name is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I need to do my playback speed. I need to speed it up just a little bit because this was, how long was this? Like 2.5 hours? Something like that with a 10-minute break. They said 10-minute break. I think it was, oh no, this thing's, oh wait, hold on.
It was like what, like 15 minutes actually? 15, 20 minutes.
The, the break?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like it was longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Carla, did you say you
Which,
were able
you
to see?
know, I understand, that does take a lot out of somebody reading them impact statements.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I think the judge is the one who really needed the break.
Yeah.
He had
Um,
tears in his eyes.
yeah, I seen him keep grabbing the tissue. See, Scarlett, did you say you were able to? Just on, yes, I was able to go to the Moscow Police Department website and just click on the Kohberger investigation documents. And then there's 5 or 6 links on there. You have to click on the link and then download it. And then it
Yeah.
sends like a zip file to a folder. And then whenever you click on the file, it opens up all the other files. And in each one of them, there is 50 different PDFs
Yeah.
that
You
goes
have to
along with each
download
link.
it to you have to do it from a computer.
Yeah.
You can't do it from a phone. I tried.
Yeah, I didn't even think to tell y'all wasn't gonna be able to do it from y'all's phone.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know why y'all are having problems because I was able to get into it just fine. You know,
So
wasn't
I went
even.
to my laptop. Yeah, I went to my laptop and I did it. I said, "Oh, well, that's why."
Yeah, didn't even think to say it's not gonna work with your phone, but um. So yeah, I've gotten through. Let's see, hold on. Let me minimize this for a second. I haven't gotten through the first 50 yet, but I think I've gotten to like 28 or 29, something like that. And Sally Mae, yeah, you wouldn't want to read these. Just not all of them are graphic. Some of them are just, the officer saying, I was on duty at the house on such and such date. I got there at so and so time, and I had to keep up with who was going in and out of the house. I had to log, who was entering and exiting with a time log and stuff like that. Some of it is that what I have found is the very first ones from the very beginning of it, like from November the 13th when they were first called out to the house, is the ones that are the more graphic ones, explaining what they found when they got there. The autopsy. So Avery, is the autopsies in there? Because I haven't got that far yet.
I hope not, because I don't want to see that stuff.
I hope they didn't release the pictures. Oh, there's no crime scene pictures in there or autopsy photos because those need to be in there.
Yeah, no.
Um,
You can tell us about it, but I don't want to see no pictures.
yeah, I would not even show the pictures on here. That would just no, I'm not.
Mm-mm.
And I'm not gonna put them behind a paywall either. That I
No,
would
I
not.
know you would never do that.
That's too damn disrespectful to the families and to the victims themselves. Avery, how are you?
Hey, um, there's no, I haven't seen any crime scene photos, and I
Okay,
haven't
good.
seen, and I haven't seen any like even diagrams or anything so far. But what they do have, and you'll get to it soon. It's where the investigators where they met. Well, they attended the autopsies and watched the autopsies, and then later they had meetings with the coroner and medical examiner,
Hmm.
and so they have all of it. They have the injuries very detailed.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah.
fine as long
and,
as no
and
pictures.
so I guess initially Kathy, what is her name, Mabbitt, Kathy
Yeah.
Mabbitt, the coroner, she so she thought that Xana, or I'm sorry, Kaylee had 20 plus wounds,
Hmm.
and Xana had 60 plus wounds. But whenever the medical examiner went over everything, um, then it was discovered that Kaylee had 34 and Xana's are close to 100.
Do you realize, without even being graphic here, do you realize how many times you're swinging your arm to do that?
Yeah.
Well,
But
you got to figure, like, if it's 100, I'll just call it gouges. That's actually 200 arm movements.
Yeah.
And it's very, it makes me wonder if he didn't take something before he went in there, because I just can't see how his
And,
very last victim, he would have had so much more adrenaline to do that.
uh, one of the documents, and it's not in the first folder, I want to say, I think I skipped to like the last folder of documents 300 through 314, I think it is. One of those is like that all of those documents in that folder are from like this year.
Hmm.
And one of the documents in there, they were asking about a vitamin bottle, if it had been admitted into evidence, and they had even asked oh, what's the dude, shit, he was at the press conference today. uh, not Blaker, what's the other guy that did the PCA?
Oh,
uh,
um,
I
uh,
I can't remember.
he's the lead, and he was the lead. What, wasn't he the
Shit.
lead investigator?
He was a little bitty short bald dude today that was at the press conference answering questions in the suit. Hold on. Brett
Can't
Payne.
name.
Brett,
Payne. Yeah,
yeah, Payne.
he was
Um,
the lead. He was the lead. But he was the lead investigator.
Tammy, okay, thank you so much for stopping by tonight. It was good to see you. So anyway, so they had to ask him about this vitamin bottle, about it being entered into evidence. He said that it was not. So they had to go, because Kohberger's car is in Idaho. And so they had to go out to Kohberger's car, look in I think it was in the trunk of the car, and they found the vitamin bottle. And there was 20 out of, or 22 out of 120 that was left in the bottle. But I didn't have time because, right before I went live, I was trying to hurry up and eat. That's why I had to push the live back and read the documents. So I didn't get a chance to look up the vitamins or whatever. But anyway,
Well,
so
I think that this is just my opinion. And I know they would never know, because they couldn't drug test him right then and there when it happened. But I think he snorted something or used something to give him, that stamina.
I wouldn't
Something.
doubt it.
But I
I
will
mean,
tell you guys, because this is bothering me because I know that, the channels that just like to, stir up shit about this case, they're going to run with it. I already seen JLR posted about it. One of the girls that gave an interview, and it's in the paperwork, said that Santa liked to use
oh, yep.
Coca-Cola.
Yep.
And then also
There's actually there's two
they,
different documents with that in there.
yeah, and they did find some powder and a rolled up dollar bill in
Yeah.
Santa's room. Well, I just wanted, because I know
Well,
those channels are going to run with that, but who in college hasn't used that? I just
Who hasn't tried it?
it
Exactly.
well,
doesn't mean anything.
here's the
No.
thing. In one of the documents I seen where they found I think it was a blue powder on the desk in Santa's room,
Yeah,
and it said that it was suspected um, substances. I have not come across a court document, and like I said, there's 314 of them. I think I have not come across one of these yet that says that substance or that powder was tested and it came back positive for any type of substance.
Nope.
So,
Because
go ahead.
if you, but also in their autopsies, it would say if any of them had anything in their system besides alcohol.
Right. And the point is whether it's true or not what was said in the interviews with these different witnesses, victims, friends, family, whoever,
Right.
whether it's true or whether it's not. The fact of the matter is, there was no reason for him to go in this house and take the lives of those 4 kids.
Nope.
and it doesn't mean that they were running substances
Nope.
Well, no,
in
there
that
was in the
house
two
either.
in the 2 documents that I found, it was 2 different witnesses that they interviewed. They were both asked if there was anything being sold out of the house, and they both said no. That it
Yeah,
was not that type of house, that it was only basically like a recreational use, personal use, however you want to call it. Um,
yeah,
Sally Mae, yeah, you can come back in if you want to. Um, so it wasn't like they were even asked if there was large quantities at the house, and the witness said no.
yeah.
So people need to stop running with shit, and
Hmm.
if it's in there, it's in there. It's still the fact is they shouldn't have been murdered.
No.
Right.
That's what it boils down to. They shouldn't
I
have
Yeah.
just
been. So
I just worry about what these stupid channels
oh, I mean, they're
will
going to do it
do
because it's
with it.
clicks and views, and it goes with the narrative of what some people believe and what some people have been saying from the very beginning, that it was that type of house, that there's uh, tunnels underneath the town of Moscow, and that led to the house. That the murders happened somewhere else. There was a fight. People are going to run with it, and there's always going to be someone there who's going to believe it,
Mm-hmm.
even though they
Well,
don't have any facts to back it up. There's still people who are going to believe it.
especially after today, and hearing the victims' impact statements, and especially hearing from Dylan herself. Like, if
Yeah.
if they have the nerve to do that after she just said, she's scared to even go in her own backyard, then, shame on them.
Well, some people don't care about other people's feelings, and they have no morals or respect or anything else. So
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
they don't.
I just wish they would have redacted that part. I really do.
yeah, but I think the reason why they didn't is because they were more focused on most of the people's names is what I've noticed that was redacted. The plate numbers on the vehicles that was at the house, VIN numbers. I'm sure there's birthdays in there, phone numbers, stuff like that, but I haven't. haven't made it that far.
It just seems to me there's been from the prosecution defense, like it just seems to me that there's been very little concern for the victims, and they've allowed too much
Yeah.
already. And so I think they should have, redacted it. They were in such a hurry to get that shit up there today. They could have
Yeah.
taken that out.
Well, okay, so during the press conference after the hearing was over with, like the press conference that Bill Thompson and all them did, the Anthony, the chief of police now, I can't remember what his last name is. He was like, "Well, hopefully that website will be up today, and you'll have to go." And literally, not 10 minutes after the press conference was over with, I went to the Moscow Police Department website. It wasn't on there. I hit refresh like twice, and it popped up. That's how
Yeah,
quick that they already had
yeah,
it put together, everything redacted and put on there.
yeah. As I go through more documents, I just hope I don't see more things like that, because they do need to realize that, Bethany and Dylan have to live their lives, and
Yeah.
it's, you know,
Well, people just need to leave them alone.
Yeah. And
Uh,
that's why there's a protection of order.
oh, for
but
99 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
law enforcement could have come out a long time ago and said, their drugs weren't being run through this house, or, they could have done and said things to help these girls not be attacked
Yep.
and harassed and death
Well,
threats.
if
And
you remember, though, a lot of that type of talk also came from uh, some of the parents, and we don't need to get into which parents. I'm just going to say some of them.
yeah,
That they had been arrested for substance abuse. And so that's where a lot of that talk came from. Uh, I
and that's
remember,
not even a valid connection.
no.
That's
Well,
ridiculous.
don't you remember they were saying that one of the parents must have cut a deal because they ended up getting out of jail early, and that's why what happened.
Oh no,
Uh,
I hadn't even heard that. That's
uh,
fucking bullshit.
yeah, that was it, like way back in the very
Yeah,
very beginning.
whatever.
It's just people are gonna run with bullshit, and if they think that it's for clicks and views, and if they think that they can make some money off of it, they're gonna run with it. And there are naive, gullible people out there who's gonna believe it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, and
Because
King, that is true.
they're
Go
gonna
ahead.
keep wanting those. They're gonna keep wanting those clicks and views. There's
Watch and
one
see.
channel that has some T initials in it. Boy, if I could get my hands around her neck, she's gonna keep it going. There's just some, I don't
Oh,
know.
I know who you're talking about. Um, just give it time. It's it's over with. The case itself is over with. He has been officially sentenced. He is now um, the custody of the state of Idaho. He belongs to the state now. He is,
Yeah,
going to be in prison for the rest of his life. Watch and see, though. There are going to be some channels out there who believe that he is innocent, and if that's what they believe, that's them. They
yeah.
have that right to believe however they want to. I respect it if that's how they want to believe or whatever. I don't know what the hell is going on in my living room, but y'all don't pay attention to the background noise.
I
Um,
can't hear anything.
Something crashed in there. I don't know what it was. Um, but they are going to keep going with this as much as they can because they're going to try to milk as much money off of it as they can. That watch and see.
After watching Bryan, which I'm sure you
Let me
guys feel the same way, but like after watching Bryan today through 2.5 hours of impact statements, that man is literally empty. There's
It,
absolutely nothing in there at all.
there's
And
not.
So if anybody could think that he didn't do this after watching today, I don't know how they could even rationalize it.
You look at whenever you watch him, it is like I said, an empty soul in there.
Yep.
Yeah, there's nothing in there. And Steve said in the press conference that when Bryan looked at him, that his eyes were black and dark.
Yep.
Like
And
he
I,
could see, like he's full of demons or
and
something like that.
yeah, I believe it because
Well, yeah,
I've studied about sociopaths and psychopaths, and when when they're sitting there and they're getting rage inside of them, but they're in a situation where they can't do anything, like today, their eyes will turn black,
I
and
wish I
that's a
wish
real
Steve.
thing.
I really I wish Steve would have either not Olivia because she's a female, but I wish Steve could have said just any little thing that could have just sent Brian over the edge.
Yeah.
It made him lash out in court.
Yeah, which was the dad that said he wished he could have 5 minutes with him out in the woods.
Oh, that was Xana's stepdad.
Okay.
It was her uncle.
Oh, uncle.
Wait, no, are you sure? I thought that was her stepdad. Hold on.
No, I think they said it was her uncle.
Let's see.
I
I
don't
could
know.
have.
We'll have to listen to it.
Yeah, let me go ahead and start playing it. I did speed it up. Yeah, and then told him to go to hell. Um, I did speed it up a little bit. Let me exit off of Discord here. Let me maximize this. So, and I've got it set to where we can just hear the impact statements um, because of like all the extra we don't really need to hear. We'll listen to what the judge has to say. Sure, got it. Yeah, this is so Bethany. Bethany did put out a statement, an impact statement, but she did not read it. A friend of hers read it. Dylan was
Yeah.
physically there, came in, sat down, and read hers. And it was hard for her to get through, but she did it. I thought it was just on. It might have been the uncle. I
That's
don't
what
know
I thought
why.
it said.
It could have been because I know that Xana's stepdad, uh, he was mad too. Vapor saying stepdad 100%. I want to say it's the stepdad that said that because he was pissed when he was up there. But we'll see. So it's first going to be Bethany's friend, then Dylan, and I had them all wrote down in order, y'all. So I made sure that I
And
got everybody.
after Dylan, I believe it was Steve, and then Olivia, and then her mom. Or was it her
Wait,
mom and then I don't know.
wait. Because no. Wait. It was Bethany's friend
Right.
Dylan, and then Maddie's family
Right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
that came
It
up.
was
I've
her
got
stepdad, and then the lawyer read a statement from the mom.
Yeah,
yeah,
they said they were going to go in the order of the charges.
Yeah.
yes, the way the charges were listed, and then there was no one from the Chapin family were there. No one had
Right.
a statement on behalf of Ethan.
That
Uh,
sucks, honestly.
it did, but I kind of see where
I
they
wish
were coming from.
Well, they said they were going
Yeah,
to spend a day out on the river on the boat to honor Ethan.
but I wish Xana's one of Xana's parents would have said a little more about him then.
because
Like he deserved to have his name.
like they didn't
Yeah.
leave him out because everybody who got up there and spoke,
Spoke
it
about all.
wasn't yeah, it wasn't just about their child or their loved one.
No.
Yes, they were there to make a statement, an impact statement on the loss of their loved one, but at the same time, they still spoke about all four of them. So Ethan wasn't left out, but his family chose to not put out a statement, which they still could at a later time. Um, and so there was nothing said on his behalf, which, like I said, and I've said it from the beginning, I understand where the Chapin family are coming from because they're putting Hunter and Macy first. They're trying to protect them because y'all have to remember they were triplets.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're trying to normalize it as much as possible for them
Yeah.
to.
And tell me something. When, because apparently I missed the memo of the change in all these courtrooms, but all these defendants, they don't have to stand when they're sentenced anymore.
I don't know. What I think is the judge said don't bother.
Because the cockroach didn't have to stand either. I'm just like, what? What in the
If
world?
you remember when Kohberger stood for the plea hearing, he stood and the judge was just like, "You go ahead and sit down."
Just go
Yeah,
ahead, sit down. I think what he mumbled
but
because I really couldn't hear him. I think he said just don't bother.
Yeah.
the whole point of making them stand is because that's when they're the most vulnerable, and
Yeah.
that and
Yeah.
they need to make those fuckers stand when they're getting sentenced.
That they
Yeah.
do. They said, wasn't it Hunter J's girlfriend that gave the statement? Was it
Yeah,
Mm,
Emily?
Emily. It was
yeah.
Xana's best friend, Emily.
For not Dylan, but
Bethany.
Bethany. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me get this pulled up here, y'all. So all I'm gonna play is the impact statements. There are 15 of them total.
Yeah.
Some of them are kind of long. I did have to speed it up a little bit just so we're not here all night. I'll skip through the 10-minute break after Olivia does hers, and then we will. If y'all want to listen to what Bill Thompson says, we can listen to it, or we can just skip through to where the judge speaks to and about Bryan and then does his sentencing. But we'll
I
get to
say skip Bill Thompson.
yeah, because I mean he was emotional too, and he did show the pictures of the kids, but basically he didn't say anything that we didn't already know anyway. So okay, let me see here. Make sure I'm clicking on the right shit because they took my words off and put pictures. It is kind of funny. There you go. I do better with words. All right, y'all let me know if y'all can hear this.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be speaking on behalf of Bethany, and so, yeah, here it reads. My name is Bethany Funk, and I was roommates with Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. I not only lost some of my best friends, but I also lost a sister. Never in a million years would I have thought that something like this would have happened to my closest friends. I thought that we were going to wake up and go upstairs, see them, and tell them how they had scared us, and that they were going to tease us about how we were constantly scaredy cats and make jokes about it as we would go to Taco Bell like always. But sadly, that is not what happened and what turned out to be my worst nightmare. When I first woke up that morning, I had no idea what happened. I woke up around 7 with a terrible toothache, so I called my dad, who is a dentist, and he asked what I should do. He told me to take Advil, so I did, and I went back to sleep. I was still out of it and still didn't know what happened. If I had known, I of course would have called 911 right away. I still carry so much regret and guilt for not knowing what had happened and not calling right away, even though I understand it wouldn't have changed anything, not even if the paramedics had been right outside the door. I was so frantic that morning and scared to death, not knowing what had happened. And when I made the 911 call, I couldn't even get out the words. And from then on, I don't remember a thing. It was like my brain wiped that whole memory. That was the worst day of my life. and I know it always will be. While I was still in shock, trying to process the fact that my friends were truly gone, I had been attacked by the public. I was grieving, numb, and unsure of what had happened was even real. And at the same time, I was getting flooded with death threats and hateful messages from people who did not know me at all or know the dynamic of our friendship. Social media made it so much worse, and strangers made up stories to entertain themselves. The media harassed not just me, but also my family. People showed up at our house. They called my phone, my parents' phones, other family members' phones, and we were chased while I was still trying to survive emotionally and grieve the loss of my friends. I hated and still hate that they are gone, but for some reason, I am still here and I got to live. I still think about this every day. Why me? Why did I get to live and not them? For the longest time, I could not even look at their families without feeling sick with guilt. I did not know what to say or what to do. I was terrified that my presence just made their pain worse, and I was still here when their kid, their siblings and their friends, their loved ones should have been here instead. After everything happened, I was afraid to go into my own backyard or alone in my house. I was scared that the person who did this would come for me next. I was always scared that the media would try to catch me at any moment of any day, even when I was just walking around my house. I made my parents close all the blinds during the day so no one could see me even in the slightest chance. I barely left the house, and when I did, I made sure I was never alone. I slept in my parents' room for almost a year. I made them double lock every door, set an alarm, and still check everywhere in the room just in case someone was hiding. And I still check my room every night before, and I double lock it. I have not slept through a single night since this happened. I constantly wake up in panics, terrified. Someone is breaking in, or someone is here to hurt me, or I'm about to lose someone else that I love. The fear never really leaves. For a long time, I could barely get out of bed, but one day I realized I have to live for them. They did not get the chance to keep living, but I do, and I will not take that for granted. So now every day I remind myself to live for them, and everything I do it with them in mind. I am still scared to go out in public, but I force myself to do things because I know that they would want me to keep living my life to the fullest. I am beyond blessed to still be here, and I refuse to take that for granted when they did not get a chance. Our house was not just a house, it was a home. It was where we laughed till we couldn't breathe, make meals, did crafts, binge watch reality shows, played games, and spent lazy days on the couch. It was movie nights, wine nights, morning debriefs, pranks, hot chocolate, cookies, and warmth. I will cherish those memories forever, and I will not let what happened erase how special our home was or how much those memories meant to me. Now I would like to share some bits and pieces of who they were as people and some of the memories that we shared. One of my favorite memories was Halloween, and we all went to Sigma Chi. But instead of partying, we just sat in an apartment, talking and laughing all night long. I do not think I've ever laughed that hard in my life. We did not care about the party. We were just happy to be with each other. Xana was 1 in a million. She was the life of the party. But she was also the kindest and funniest person I knew. Everyone loved her because she made everyone feel so loved. She was just someone you always wanted to be around, no matter the circumstance. One of my favorite days with Xana was when she laid on the couch, when we laid on the couch together all day watching movies and snacking. Or when she, Maddie, and I would go and get margaritas, chips, and salsa. She would also light up a room with her presence alone. Kaylee had the most beautiful, radiant smile, and she was so kind, but also one of the funniest people I've ever known. She loved playing little pranks. She always had us laughing so hard that we could not breathe. She was so full of energy and life. I really believe that she could have ruled the world if she wanted to, and she would have been America's sweetheart. Ethan was the sweetest, most genuine guy. He was always smiling and always making other people smile too. Ethan was the kind of person you wanted around. He was so kind and easy to talk to, and just so fun. And the way he cared for Xana was truly something to admire. And really was proof that storybook love and true romances really do exist. It was not only obvious to me, but everyone that was around Ethan and Xana that they were absolute soulmates. Maddie was not only one of my best friends, but she was the older sister I would have always wanted. There was no one I looked up to or admired more than Maddie. She was truly a ray of sunshine, and everyone was drawn to her. She was so kind, loving, funny, fun, and passionate. She had the sweetest soul and wanted nothing but the best for everyone, and to love and show love to everyone. She took me under her wing and always made me feel so safe and included, and above all, loved and valued. She never failed to make me laugh or put a smile on my face. Still to this day, I am beyond grateful that she chose me to be her sorority little, and I thank God every day that I not only got to know her, but had her as one of my best friends. Honestly, I cannot pinpoint one favorite memory with Maddie because I have so many, and this would be a very long read if I did. But if some little memories with her that I cherish is when the two of us made a nice dinner and split some wine, or when we would binge watch Jersey Shore or Summer House. When we came up with a whole dance routine on Halloween and danced and sang all night, like no one was watching. All the late night walks home from going out, and just little shopping trips and so much more. I am beyond blessed that I had the chance to know each and every one of them. They changed my life in ways I would have never put into words. I hope that they are remembered for who they are and not what happened to them, because who they are were so beautiful, and they deserve to be remembered in the highest way. My heart breaks every time I go to text one of them or how badly I wish I could see and hang out with them. And then I remember I cannot. I will never be able to again. But I still talk to them in my prayers every single night, and I always will. I wish more than anything I could hug them one last time. And I wish I could tell them how much I love them. And even though I cannot, I still tell them every night. I will keep living for them as long as I am lucky enough to still be here. And they were all truly one of a kind. And they will be in our hearts forever and always.
Thank you. And please convey to Bethany my appreciation for her courage, and I hope that she heals.
Next is Dylan Mortensen. We're asking for some accommodations for Ms. Mortensen and that she be allowed to sit in my seat.
Sure. Dylan, just take your time, all right?
Sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor. What happened that night changed everything. Because of him, four beautiful, genuine, compassionate people were taken from this world for no reason. He didn't just take their lives. He took the light that carried it into every room. He took away how they made everyone feel safe, loved, and full of joy. He took away the ability for me to tell them that I love them and that I'm so proud of them. He took away who they were becoming and the futures they were going to have. He took away birthdays, graduations, celebrations, and all the memories that we were supposed to make. All of it is gone. And all the people who love them are just left to carry that weight forever. He didn't just take them from the world. He took them from me, my friends, my people who felt like my home, the people I looked up to and adored more than anyone. He took away my ability to trust the world around me. What he did shattered me in places I didn't know could break. I was barely 19 when he did this. We had just celebrated my birthday at the end of September. I should have been figuring out who I was. I should have been having the college experience and starting to establish my future. Instead, I was forced to learn how to survive the unimaginable. I couldn't be alone. I had to sleep in my mom's bed because I was too terrified to close my eyes. Terrified that if I blinked, someone might be there. I made escape plans everywhere I went. If something happens, how do I get out? What can I use to defend myself? Who can help? And then there are the panic attacks. The kind that slam into me like a tsunami out of nowhere. I can't breathe. I can't think. I can't stop shaking. All I can do is scream because the emotional pain and the grief is too much to handle. My chest feels like it's caving in. Sometimes I drop to the floor with my heart racing, convinced something is very wrong. It's far beyond anxiety. It's my body reliving everything over and over again. My nervous system never got the message that it is over, and it won't let me forget what he did to them. People call me strong. They say I'm a survivor, but they don't see what my new reality looks like. They don't see the panic attacks, the hypervigilance, the exhaustion, the way I scan every room I enter, the way I flinch at sudden sounds. They don't know how heavy it is to carry so much pain and still be expected to keep going, and that's because of him. He stole parts of me I may never get back. He took the version of me who didn't constantly ask, what if it happens again? What if next time I don't survive? He may have shattered parts of me, but I'm still putting myself back together. Piece by piece, I'm learning how to live in this new version of life. It is not easy. It hurts, but I'm still trying. And I'm not trying just for me. I'm trying for them, my friends. About a year ago, I had a dream about them. I got to say goodbye. I told them I won't be able to see you again, so I need to tell you goodbye. They all kept asking why, and all I could say was, I can't tell you, but I have to. When I woke up, I felt shattered and heartbroken, but also strangely grateful. Like maybe in some way that dream gave us the goodbye we never got. Still, no dream can replace them, and no goodbye will ever feel finished. He is a hollow vessel, something less than human, a body without empathy, without remorse. He chose destruction. He chose evil. He feels nothing. He tried to take everything from me, my friends, my safety, my identity, my future. He took their lives, but I will continue trying to be like them to make them proud. Living is how I honor them. Speaking today is to help me find some sort of justice for them. And I will never let him take that from me. He may have taken so much from me, but he will never get to take my voice. He will never take the memories I had with them. He will never erase the love we shared, the laughs we had, or the way they made me feel seen and whole. Those things are mine. They are sacred, and he will never touch them. I get to feel sadness. I get to feel rage. I get to feel joy even when it's hard. I get to feel love even when it hurts. I get to live. And while I will still live with this pain, at least I get to live my life. He will stay here, empty, forgotten, and powerless.
Jill, thank you so much for your courage. I appreciate it.
Next, we have members from the Madison Mogan family. First would be Scott Laramie, Madison Mogan's stepfather. Standing by him is Karen Laramie, his mother.
Thank you, Your Honor. My name is Scott Laramie. I'm Maddie Mogan's stepfather and the husband of Maddie's mother, Karen Laramie. I will read this victim impact statement on behalf of Karen and myself. Maddie was our gift of life, our purpose, and our hope. Maddie quickly became Karen's joy, identity, and purpose in life. I joined Maddie's life when she was 2.5 years old. Experience transformed me into a life of joy, love, and family. Maddie was bright, beautiful, kind, empathic. She listened carefully to others and was observant, seeing and caring about the hearts and minds of all she encountered. She loved music and music festivals. She had a wonderful sense of humor. She excelled in school. She was an easy child to raise, almost never requiring discipline, and almost always giving us parental joy. One time Karen remembers disciplining Maddie as a little girl. Maddie responded, "You broke my heart," which of course melted ours. She had a keen wit, even at that young age. As she transitioned into teenage years, she prioritized us and extended family over many of the distractions that capture teenagers. She showered us with her presence and love at family events, barbecues, picnics, birthdays, holidays, and others. She spent countless hours with her papa, her Uncle David, Aunt Nadine, and her other close family and friends. This world was a better place with her in it. As she reached adulthood, Maddie applied her studies to be a marketing professional, entering into an internship at Payne West, and started planning her professional future. As with all things, she involved Karen and myself in the joy of her journey. As she transitioned into womanhood, Karen and I continued to be astounded at this wonderful and accomplished person we had created. All parents dream of their children accomplishing more than them. We realized this dream, all we had not become, she was becoming. Karen and I are ordinary people, but we lived extraordinary lives because we had Maddie. Maddie was taken senselessly and brutally in a sudden act of evil. She was taken along with the young, promising, and bright lives of Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. First, we felt disbelief. Next, we felt disorientation. Then we felt grief overcome us. Our grief is compounded even more for the Goncalves, Kernodle, and Chapin families. We speak of hope and healing, and we do have hope and some healing. But the vast emotional wound will never fully heal. Since Maddie's loss, there's emptiness in our hearts, home, and family, an endless void. After losing her mother in a car crash, Karen took years to grieve and recover. The feeling that her life with Maddie and Abe was perfect helped her to start to heal. Now, this is no longer perfect. After Maddie's loss, Karen felt like she was spinning out emotionally collapsing into anxiety and depression. She sometimes asks, how am I supposed to go on when I've lost my favorite person in the world? I felt the same, and we continue to struggle. The loss of Maddie has impacted so many beyond our family. Her second family is her sorority sisters who grieve alongside us. She has so many close friends who suffer from her loss. We will continue to be, her loss will continue to be felt by the Vandal community, including Vandal Solutions on campus, where she volunteered her time for others. It helps us to know Maddie is in heaven now, freed from the trials of this earth. We, however, continue to live on without the grace and support of her presence. We will grow old without our only child, our bright, beautiful friend and daughter. In the end, there are no words that can accurately capture the devastation of losing Maddie. We will endure, and we will go on. For Maddie, we will not let our grief consume us. For Maddie, we will continue to love and care for our family and friends, including the families of Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. We will remain united with them. We can only hope that others out there suffering similar losses can look to us and see that we can overcome hatred, darkness, and evil. We know the law allows us to comment on the defendant and the sentence. As for a sentence, we support the plea agreement. Society needs to be protected against this evil. As for the defendant, we will not waste words, nor will we fall into hatred and bitterness. Evil has many faces, and we now know this, but evil does not deserve our time and attention. We are done being victims. We are taking back our lives. We will turn our time, talents, and attention to hope, healing, and helping others, and to the future. We invite all those who have suffered with us on this to join us in our journey. We can make this world a better place. We can move on from tragedy. Adversity will visit us, evil will visit us, but we will overcome. We can and will endure. Karen and I express our gratitude to Your Honor and to the prosecution team for allowing us the opportunity to make this statement. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your courage, and I am so sorry for your loss. God
Thank
bless
you, Your
you.
Honor.
Your Honor, this is Leander James. He's the attorney for the Mogan family and victim advocate. He'll be reading a statement for Karen Laramie.
May it please the court, counsel. My name is Leander James. I'm the pro bono counsel for Karen and Scott Laramie. Karen has asked me to read the statement into the record. I thank my husband, Scott, for his statement, his courage, and his unending love and support during this dark time. While words are inadequate to capture the impact of this horrific crime on our family, he expressed it as best anyone could. For Maddie's sake, I will add my supplement statement that incorporates additional impact in the context of my extended family. I am grateful to Maddie's great uncle, Bryan Caulfield, for assisting me with the difficult task of putting our pain into words. For me and my extended family, Maddie was our hope and our light. Her beauty, both outside and in, shone its light upon everyone with whom she came in contact. Her beauty, she carried that hope and light into the future for our entire family. We have memories of our Maddie and grief and pain at her being taken from our presence. Any one of us would have given our own light to have been outshone by hers. We now look to our Creator to know that her light continues where we look to see her in His presence. Those who commit evil for their own twisted gains and purposes truly defile the efforts and sacrifices of mothers, fathers, families, teachers, clergy, public servants, service members, and all those who commit themselves to the greater good, freedoms, and the future light of our nation. Condemnation falls heavily upon those who squandered the lives of our future hopes and dreams. Some may offer forgiveness for what the defendant has done. However, we cannot at this time, or perhaps ever, nor will we ask for mercy for what he has done. His acts are too heinous. The agony and grief he has caused, too great. But we will waste no further words or thoughts on him. For Maddie's sake, we will move on. We will do our best to carry Maddie's light into this world and make it a better place. I thank the court and the prosecution for allowing me the opportunity to make my statement. And I thank all those who have and will support my family and the families of Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Laramie. Appreciate it.
Next is Ben Mogan, the father of Maddie Mogan.
Yes, of course.
Actually, Your Honor, it'll be Kim Cheeley, the grandmother of Maddie Mogan.
My name is Kim Cheeley. I was Maddie Mogan's paternal grandmother, as Ben Mogan, her father, is my son. I'm here today with my sister Lori Cheeley, Maddie's great aunt, and my son Ben Mogan, and my daughter-in-law Corey Hatrock. I'd like to begin by thanking a number of people involved in bringing this case to closure. In my daughter's words, the plea deal the prosecution team reached this month is one that punishes the perpetrator of this horrendous crime, protects the public from further harm, and allows all of us who knew and loved these kids the time to grieve without the anxiety of the long and gruesome trial, the years of appeals, and potential for mistrials along the way. My family and I are so grateful to Bill Thompson and his prosecution team for their dedication and painstaking work that forced the perpetrator to admit his guilt. We want to thank the Idaho State Police, the Moscow Police Department, the FBI, and Judge Hippler. We'd also like to thank the University of Idaho officials who treated the families of the victims with such dignity and kindness, and who have honored the 4 victims beautifully. Maddie was my first grandchild, so when she was born, all her grandparents had the distinct pleasure of deciding what we'd like to be called. I chose Nana, pretty original. But when Maddie was about a year and a half old, her papa, Ben's dad, and I were planning to visit the new little family in Oregon. Maddie didn't have an extensive vocabulary at the time, but for some unknown reason, she called bananas ba deedle deedles. When Karen and Ben told her Nana was coming to visit, she figured I say deedle deedle for that word. So I became Deedle Deedle, shortened to Deedle when she was about 6 or 7, and I was Deedle all her life. I don't think her stepdad, Scotty, ever knew my given name was Kim. Maddie's and my birthdays were one day apart, and a couple years before she was killed, she gave me this necklace with Deedle and Maddie engraved on it, and I added an angel wing, and it's one of my treasured possessions. I also got an angel wing tattoo, never thought I'd see the day, but along with many members of our family, replicating the one that Maddie and her sorority sisters had. I wanted mine where I could see and touch it often. From preschool through grade school, I stopped teaching piano lessons early on Wednesdays and picked Maddie up for bubble baths, brownies, and books. It was our special time together. And she went home those nights in her jammies with a pan of warm brownies for her family. Although Karen and Scotty raised Maddie and did such a lovely job of parenting, we Mogans were lucky to have her for holidays and many other family gatherings. We'll always have our treasured memories of Maddie growing up in our big extended cooperative family. And I thank Karen and Scotty Laramie for being so generous and open and sharing Maddie with her Mogan side of the family. When the 4 kids were murdered, the foundation fell out of our world. Initially, the fear was truly debilitating. The first 6 weeks were excruciating. Despite the vigils, memorials, candlelight gatherings of students, friends, family, community members. After the arrest, in the past 2.5 years, my family has lived with grief, with the effects of traumatic grief, of which I was blissfully unaware before all of this. I now have a stack of books on grief. I've attended grief classes at hospice. I've tried EMDR, a technique that helps replace disturbing visions with something more comforting. My son, Ben, his 2 sisters, Maddie's aunts, and I have all experienced depression and anxiety and sleep disturbance, requiring medical intervention at times. We've all sought counseling off and on. The struggle with media attention was extremely difficult, especially for Ben. No one should live through the violent murder of one's child. Some days it's beyond me how the parents of these kids are still upright. I'm thankful for the strong families and communities that are supporting the survivors. At the time, I could think of only 2 blessings surrounding the horrific murders. One was that Ben was living with my partner, Tom, and me at the time, and that we could support each other emotionally through it all. Sadly, Tom died a year ago of a rare brain cancer, and he won't be here to see justice served. He was our family's rock, and we all miss him every day. A second blessing is that my mother died of COVID several months before the kids were killed, and she didn't have to live through the horror. It was difficult to identify blessings. So we've all lost our dear child and a future with her. I ache for the loss of the dreams that she and her true love, Jake, held. And my heart goes out to Karen and Scotty and your side of Maddie's family. You've had more than your share of loss. My heart aches for the kids' roommates and the families of the other victims, and also the family of the perpetrator. Going forward, we Mogans are choosing to put our energy and focus into honoring Maddie's too short life and sweet spirit by celebrating Maddie May Day, which my 2 daughters established. On May 25th each year, Maddie's birthday, we encourage folks to do random acts of kindness in Maddie's name. In my daughter Katie's words, may we all protect our peace in whatever way possible, unite in community, and focus on joy. Please do an act in kindness in Maddie's honor during this week. so a glimmer of Maddie's light may live on. Thank you.
Thank you, and appreciate your courage, and bless you and your family.
Thank you.
Now it's Ben Mogan, Maddie Mogan's father.
I'm Benjamin Mogan. I'm Maddie's dad. And first, I just want to say thanks to all the people that helped bring this all to a close. I know it's not the resolution that everyone wanted, but I think that that everyone worked so hard, and we really appreciate all their efforts. It was such a hard thing to go through for everybody. Maddie was my only child that I ever had. She's the only great thing I ever really did, and the only thing I was really ever proud of. And I thought we would have the rest of our lives together to be together and know each other, and I took for granted the times she was in college, and I thought, oh well, we'll have the rest of our lives to do all the stuff that we're supposed to do, and she was just about done. She actually earned all of her credits for her college degree, and Karen and Scotty and I got to go and get her diploma that she actually earned, and she served every bit of that. And but I thought that was going to be just the beginning of a long life together, and we never got that. Karen and Scotty did such a great job raising her after Karen and I split up, and I'm so thankful for Scotty and the role that he played in her life when I wasn't able to. But we got to spend a lot of great times together, Maddie and I. She was my favorite person to go to a concert with. We got to see some fun shows together, and I told her, if there's ever a show that you want to go to, let me know, and I'll get you tickets for you and your friend, or if we want to go together, we'll make it happen. And my favorite memory with her was when the Mac Miller show sold out here in Spokane, and everyone wanted tickets, no one could get them, and they, on the last day before the show, they did a radio thing, and I got 4 meet and greet tickets for Maddie and her friends, and we had to go and see the show, and that was her favorite artist at the time, was Mac Miller, and he's gone now too, and my little cousin Zach drove us all there that night, and he's gone too, tragically. And anyway, the last thing that she ever wrote to me was this Father's Day card, and I'm so glad I still have it. I'm just going to read what she said. It says, "Happy Father's Day. I hope you have the best day. I can't wait till we can hang out again soon. I'll be in Coeur d'Alene 624 to 74. Hopefully we can find a time then. I love your birthday card that you sent me, by the way. Maybe we can see a concert sometime soon. I'd love to see the gorge when it's not so smoky out. I hope you're doing well. I'm proud of how far you've come. Thank you for always encouraging me to do my best. Love you lots and lots. Love, Maddie May." She did encourage me to not just to do my best, but to live on. I went through a lot of issues with addiction and with substance abuse, and when I wasn't wanting to live anymore, she was what would keep me from just not caring anymore. And knowing that she was out there and that she was just such a beautiful person kept me alive a lot of rough moments. And I'm so glad that she was able to meet Jake. He was the only one that actually ever got to take her to the gorge. They went and saw Watershed together, and yeah, they had a heck of a time. just glad she got to. That's a really special place for me, and she always wanted to work out there with me in the summer sometime. She never got to, but at least she got to see it once with Jake. He was such a great guy. He is such a great guy, and I really wanted to see what a future with them would have looked like. I'll never be able to replace her. I wrote a bunch of stuff. I just don't know what to say right now. I just miss her so much, and I just selfish more than anything. And this shouldn't have happened. And a death sentence is one thing. When it's going to happen, and it's going to be all gentle and stuff. But life without parole, with a building full of people that all just want you to not be around anymore, and winking at every morning, not knowing if that's the day they're going to pull your card. I mean, it's not a very nice sentence either. So, I don't know. I just love you, Maddie, and I wish you were still here.
Thank you so much.
Your Honor, next would be members from the Kaylee Gonsalves family. First will be her father, Steve Gonsalves.
Today, we are here to finish what you started. Today, you've lost control. Today, we are here to prove to the world that you picked the wrong families. The wrong state, the wrong police officers, the wrong community. You tried to break our community apart. You tried to plant fear. You tried to divide us. You failed. Instead, your actions have united everyone in their disgust for you. I just learned from these lead investigators, to their shock, they worked in an investigation and actually worked with Pennsylvania police officers and the federal FBI. You united everyone. Everyone was united after you. None of us are divided. We are united in our disgust and our love for these children. Today, you have no name. Because when this all started, we all came together and we said, let's stop even talking about his name and just use initials. So even the media just calls you BK. That's all you are. Looking back when the police officers knocked on my door, told me what happened to my child, told me what happened to Maddie Mae, I don't think he was even out of the driveway before my kids turned around, looked at me and said, what do we do, Dad? I told them, you get to work. You get your ass to work. And we started calling, we started texting, we started emailing. And you know what? Within hours, we had your white car on the camera. We knew from the very beginning we had you. Police officers tell us within minutes, they had your DNA, like a calling card. You were that careless, that foolish, that stupid. Master degree, you're a joke, complete joke. But we took this disaster and we did what we could. We put everything online. We took our kids, we took our images, we took everything that they did, their videos, their photos, the girls' pranks, Ethan singing. We put it out there, we shared it with the world. And the world united. And all they ended up, when they talked about this case, is they talked about Kaylee Jade, Maddie Mae, Xana, and Ethan. Everything what these people meant to us, a father, a mother, a brother, a sister, we shared that with our community. Then we shared it with our state. We shared it with the country, and eventually we shared it with the world. The world's watching because of the kids, not because of you. Nobody cares about you. You're not worth the time, the effort to be remembered. In time, you will be nothing but two initials forgotten to the wind. No visitors, nothing more than initials on an otherwise unmarked tombstone. From this moment, we've all started. From this moment, we will forget you. I'll leave in closing. One last thing. You picked the wrong family, and we're laughing at you on your trip to Penn. I will be today or tomorrow. I'll close with God bless all the men and women that worked on this case and all the hard work that you guys did. You guys allowed us to grieve and allowed us to get through this. The amount of work that you guys put together and the way that you guys put it together was beautiful. There was hard times to be expected, but thank you all. And God bless.
Thank you.
Your Honor, next is Stephen Gonzalez, Kaylee's brother. Stephen's actually going to pass. I'm going to go. Olivia Gonzalez, Kaylee's sister.
Hello, I'd like to start by thanking the court for allowing me the time and opportunity to speak today. My name is Olivia, and I'm the big sister of Kaylee Gonzalez, and I was blessed to love Madison Mogan as a sister too. I'm not here today to speak in grief. I'm here to speak in truth. Because the truth is, my sister Kaylee and her best friend Maddie were not yours to take. They were not yours to study, to stalk, or to silence. They were two pieces of a whole, the perfect yin and yang. They are everything that you could never be. Loved, accepted, vibrant, accomplished, brave, and powerful. Because the truth about Kaylee and Maddie is they would have been kind to you. If you had approached them in their everyday lives, they would have given you directions, thanked you for the compliment, or awkwardly giggled to make your own words less uncomfortable for you. In a world that rejected you, they would have shown mercy. Because the truth is, I'm angry. Every day I'm angry. I'm left shouting at the inside of my own head everything I wish I could say to you. The truth about me is when I heard the news, I didn't cry. I listened for them. I promised them I would, that I would fight for them, that I would show up no matter what it cost me. I swore I'd never let them feel alone. Because you see, I've always been their heavyweight. I've always been the one to fight the battles they didn't feel ready to fight themselves. All it ever took was a call, and they knew I would handle it for them, no matter the time, no matter the cost. They could wave their white flag because they knew I would never back down, not for them, and not even death could change that. Somewhere along the line, I started to think about what I would say to them if I was given just one last chance. If I could gather enough heartbreak or love or sacrifice or whatever it took to get just one message across, what would I say? Throughout this entire process, I've written my feelings down at every moment, my wishes, my love, my denial, my anger. And as one final act of love, I'd planned to read these thoughts, even jarring and discombobulating and not even making sense. Because for me, that was true love. As bare and as naked as it could be, not laced in pretty words or dressed for the occasion, but written through bleary eyes at 2 a.m. with clenched fists, angry at this reality. My true final act of love was to continue on without them, for them. That dream to read aloud my love to them, to bring meaning through pain, was the latest blow in realizing you don't deserve it. And Kaylee and Maddie don't need it. Kaylee and Maddie have always known my love, and they would never ask me to prove it by further victimizing myself to a defendant who has shown no guilt, no remorse, no apprehension. They would say to me, why would you give the satisfaction of showing vulnerability now? You promised you would never back down. And for that clarity, I'm thankful. I won't stand here and give you what you want. I won't offer you tears. I won't offer you trembling. Disappointments like you thrive on pain, on fear, and on the illusion of power. And I won't feed your beast. Instead, I will call you what you are. Sociopath, psychopath, murderer. I will ask the questions that reverberate violently in my own head, so loudly that I can't think straight most any day. Some of these might be familiar, so sit up straight when I talk to you. How was your life right before you murdered my sisters? Did you prepare for the crime before leaving your apartment? Please detail what you were thinking and feeling at this time. Why did you choose my sisters? Before making your move, did you approach my sisters? Detail what you were thinking and feeling. Before leaving their home, is there anything else you did? How does it feel to know the only thing you failed more miserably at than being a murderer is trying to be a rapper? Did you recently start shaving or manually pulling out your eyebrows? Why November 13th? Did you truly think your Amazon purchase was untraceable because you used a gift card? How do you find it enjoyable to stargaze with such a severe case of visual snow? Where is the murder weapon? The clothes you wore that night? What did you bring into the house with you? What was the second weapon you used on Kaylee? What were Kaylee's last words? Please describe in detail the level of anxiety you must have felt when you heard the Bearcat pull up to your family home on December 30th, 2022. Which do you regret more? Returning to the crime scene 5 hours later, or never, ever going back to Moscow, not even once, after stalking them there for months? If you were really smart, do you think you'd be here right now? What's it like needing this much attention just to feel real? You're terrified of being ordinary, aren't you? Do you feel anything at all? Or are you exactly what you always feared? Nothing. If you're so powerful, then why are you still hiding, defendant? You see, I'm here today as me. But who are you? Let's try to take off your mask and see. You didn't create devastation. You revealed it in yourself. And that darkness you carry, that emptiness, you'll sit with it long after this is over. That is your sentence. And it was written on the wall long before you ever pled guilty. You didn't win. You just exposed yourself as the coward you are. You're a delusional, pathetic, hypochondriac loser who thought you were so much smarter than everybody else. Constantly scolding, turning your nose up to grammar mistakes, nitpicking and criticizing others. You wanted so badly to be different, to be special, to be better, to be deep, to be mysterious. You found yourself thinking you were better than everyone else, and you thought you could figure out the human psyche and see through it, all while tweaked out on heroin. Lurking in the shadows made you feel powerful because no one ever paid you any attention in the light. You thought you were exceptional, all because of a grade on a paper. You thought you were elite because your online IQ test from 2010 told you so. All of that effort just to seem important. It's desperate. There is a name for your condition, though. Your inflated ego just didn't allow you to see it. Wannabe. You act like no one could ever understand your mind, but the truth is you're basic. You're a textbook case of insecurity disguised as control. Your patterns are predictable. Your motives are shallow. You are not profound. You're pathetic. You aren't special or deep, not mysterious or exceptional. Don't ever get it twisted again. No one is scared of you today. No one is intimidated by you. No one is impressed by you. No one thinks that you are important. You orchestrated this like you thought you were God. Now look at you, begging a courtroom for scraps. You spent months preparing, and still all it took was my sister in a sheath. You worked so hard to seem dangerous, but real control doesn't have to prove itself. The truth is, the scariest part about you is how painfully average you turned out to be. The truth is, you're as dumb as they come. Stupid, clumsy, slow, sloppy, weak, dirty. Let me be very clear. Don't ever try to convince yourself you mattered just because someone finally said your name out loud. I see through you. You want the truth? Here's the one you'll hate the most. If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your fucking ass. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Christy Gonzalez, Kaylee Gonzalez's mother.
Thank you, Your Honor. I never imagined having to speak to someone so devoid of humanity. For a long time, I didn't think I'd find the words low enough to meet you where you are. But now I realize this isn't about you. It's about what you've done to me, and I need you to hear it. When you murdered my daughter, Kaylee J. Gonzalez, you didn't just take her life, you shattered others. You attacked what you could never be, and in doing so, you left a trail of devastation far beyond that house. You stole my peace. You've altered my every waking moment, every sleepless night, the way I view the world, people, safety, trust. It's all been changed by your cruelty. I no longer recognize parts of myself. Joy is harder to find. Laughter feels foreign. The world moves forward, but I'm suspended in a place of sorrow and rage. You've taken from me something that can never be restored. The grief sits with me every day, some days quietly, and other days so loud it drowns out everything else. The emotional toll you've inflicted on me is immeasurable. I live with a constant ache, with birthdays that are now memorials, with holidays that feel hollow, with empty chairs that scream louder than words ever could. I am forever changed. But for you, as a person working on a PhD in criminal justice, you really didn't think this one through. You're not that good. In fact, you're not that good at anything. You couldn't secure a job. You couldn't get along with others. You couldn't even get a female to look in your direction, all because you are pathetic. Now you're a joke in this courtroom. I wish I could crown you with a jester hat to complete your orange jumpsuit clown look. A dead killer doesn't kill again. So while I'm disappointed the firing squad won't get to take their shots at you, I'm confident that the men in prison will have their way with you in more ways than one. You will finally get what you wanted, physical touch, just probably not how you were expecting it. See, you haven't beat the system. You've simply entered a new one where the rules are cruel and the consequences will never end. You're entering a place where no one will care who you are and no one will ever respect you. You will be forgotten, discarded, used, and erased. You will always be remembered as a loser, an absolute failure. And when those prison doors slam shut behind you, I hope that sound echoes in your heart for the rest of your meaningless days. I hope it reminds you of what we all already know. You're nothing. May you continue to live your life in misery. You are officially the property of the state of Idaho, where your fellow inmates are anxiously awaiting your arrival. But it's okay, because they're there to help you. Hell will be waiting. Quick message from our youngest daughter. Aubrey wanted to say, you may have received A's in high school and college, but you're going to be getting big D's in prison.
Thank you. Do we have more from the Gonzalez family, or are you?
Yes. Next would be Shannon Gray, the Gonzalez family attorney. He'll be reading statements from Kaylee Gonzalez's grandmothers.
Morning, Your Honor. Shannon Gray, the attorney for the Gonzalez family. I actually have 3 statements, one from her aunt and 2 from her grandparents. This is from her aunt, Tammy Butts. You, in the cloak of darkness, made a decision to turn our whole family's world upside down forever. You, in the cloak of darkness, took our Kaylee J. Gonzalez away from us all without hesitation. Never have you shown any remorse or regret. We just get creepy, non-expressive stares as you have your team of women defend you. Kaylee was a strong, kind, fun-loving, caring person, and she will greatly be missed by all her family and friends for the rest of our lives. She had goals in life that you took from her and us. We lose on watching her enjoying her life, working hard and building the future she wanted. She was ready to start that after college life. You, in the cloak of darkness, took it all away. You left us without her future wedding, her future children that you would have added to our family. No more talking to her on the phone, going for a coffee, celebrating holidays. It's all gone. You, in the cloak of darkness, gave each and every one of Kaylee's family members their own lifetime sentence. You, in the cloak of darkness, also took our Maddie Mae from all of us. She was so genuine, caring, polite. She was part of our family. You came in, harmed our children that were younger women than you in their own beds. You're nothing, you're a coward. It's not right that you have received life. I pray that you meet your end in the cloak of darkness, burn in hell. I have 2 other statements, Your Honor. This is Linda Lucan's statement. This is Kaylee's grandmother. I really don't know how to address something so inhumane, but I will try. Nothing in the past 2.5 years has made any sense. All I get is you cowardly went into a home at night filled with what I'm sure you thought was all sleeping girls and went on a vicious killing spree for no other reason but to appease your demonic urges. You took my granddaughter Kaylee from us, plus 3 other beautiful lives. You took my granddaughter Kaylee, beautiful, sweet-souled, doll-faced Kaylee, who was getting ready to start her amazing life, who had such a bright future, who was loved by so many, who you were so envious of. She had a life you could never have. You are so beyond human. You're definitely a demon from hell. I truly wish your punishment would be the same death you inflicted on our kids. But I think you will meet some new friends in prison who will be there just to help you. Thumbs up. And I have one last statement, Your Honor. This is from Cheryl Gonzalez, Kaylee's other grandmother. John 1:5 says, light shines in the darkness, and the darkness overcomes it not. Somewhere in your life, some jealousy, envy, ego, something went dark. It pushed out all light until you became dark and evil. And when you saw my granddaughter and her friends, their light, because they have such a light, you couldn't stand it. Because the darkness in you could not stand the light in them. And so you decided to destroy it. Cowardly, you walked into their rooms in the dark and took their lives, hoping to get rid of your darkness. But you didn't. You failed. Because you know what was once a light shown only to their friends, families, and loved ones is now all over the world. Everyone sees it. Their smile, their beauty, their plans, everything they were and had. And you think you put a close to it, even that, but you didn't. Because they still exist. They are still light. They are still beautiful. You can never take that away. They will always be in the light of all eternity. And you will be in the darkness because you could not overcome it. You failed. I want you to be gone, more than gone. I want you to be cast out. Cast out from my life, from my family, from this earth. I will not allow your hatred to penetrate into my own soul. You did not get that power. You are evil, and in the end, evil is eradicated. You didn't take Kaylee's light, you spread it into the world. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Are you moving to a different family now? All right, why don't we take a 10-minute recess? All right.
Just want to say thank you to everyone who's been involved in this and just for all the hard work and dedication you guys have put into this. I also want to thank everyone for the support and just my family and friends who've been around through this time. I went back and forth on whether to speak today because the truth is you don't deserve power over my feelings, my words, or me.
Thank you. In the end, I realized this moment isn't about you. It's about justice for Xana, Ethan, Kaylee, and Maddie. It's about honoring the beautiful people they were and still are in God's eyes. On November 13th, 2022, piece of my heart was ripped away. There's no way to ever fully describe the weight of losing my sister, my best friend. No sentence or punishment will ever come close to the justice Xana, Ethan, Kaylee, and Maddie deserve. Xana was everyone's best friend. She was kind, she was funny. She was a gift to each person she was able to make an impact on. Xana was someone I turned to when I needed direction or advice. Although I am her older sister, I often found myself looking up to her. She had a radiant energy that everyone loved, and she always knew the right way to approach a problem. She knew how precious and special life was, and she truly did live every day to the fullest. Yet her story was cut short by an act of evil. I believe in a God whose justice is not bound by this courtroom. I find peace knowing that judgment ultimately belongs to him. For your sake, I hope one day you feel the full weight of what you did. I hope you take accountability. I hope you truly experience the guilt and you surrender yourself to Jesus Christ. Because no punishment on this earth can ever compare to the isolation and pain of eternal separation from God. Xana deserved more. They all did. But I come here to say this. I am strong. I am brave. I'm a fighter, just like Xana. And you don't get to control how I move forward or what I believe.
I walk with the comfort of knowing I will see my sister again. Xana didn't get the future she deserved. She won't be the maid of honor at my wedding, the cool aunt to my future children. I'll never hear her laugh or see her light up a room ever again. But I will carry her with me for the rest of my life. I will live in her honor, fight to be the best kind of woman and someone she's proud of, to make sure the world never forgets who she was. Xana's story doesn't end with what was taken from her. It lives through the love she gave, the people she touched, and the legacy our family will protect. Her light still shines, and her voice will echo louder than this pain. You didn't take that from us, and you never will.
Thank you.
I just want to say before I start, I'm Xana's dad, Jeff Knodel. It's been a hard road down, because she's gone. And I want to thank everybody, other their families that's speaking so far, spoke about things. I agree with everything they have to say. It all comes back to a lot of the same things that I've had to deal with and we as a family have had to deal with. And that brings me, the basis of what I'm talking about a little bit is on my way up here, flying up here in the plane and about halfway through the flight, this little girl calling out for her dad. Hey, dad. And then in my mind, I was kind of half asleep. It's dark on the plane. I heard Xana calling out for me like she did, back when she was little, 5 years old. And those times were hard. It was chaotic, but we always had something to work toward that was in a positive direction, compared to right now, which is necessarily not as positive as that for sure. And I miss Xana a lot. My life's been changed, and Xana had a great impact on me. And the impact was when she was gone, I realized how important she was, and what she really did for me, influenced me, was way beyond what I ever thought. She'd call me up on the weekends, check on me, see who's with me. She's like accountability to your youngest daughter. And that really made a big difference. It made me really think about things and what it's all about, That's the things that I miss the most, is those calls on the weekends, the calls at 11 at night. What's going on? You want to meet my friend? Whoever she's with, a couple of her friends, I can meet them, talk to them. And she always did that. And it's pretty cool. I really miss that. And she made a big impact on me, on other people, her family. But the impact that she made is so extensive on what happened here. And it goes so far. People from everywhere in the world, are following things, and Xana has made a difference in their lives. So, countless people. So that they might not don't even know her. They never knew anything about her. It's what they see, and they just love her and say how they wish she could have been their friend. Could have been their friend, could hung out. And it's like, this is a blessing. This is what the little kid was. And definitely was a big blessing in my life. And so is Jasmine. And basically, we worked hard to do the things we did, through the times they were growing up. And through those times, I realized that I wanted both of them to graduate college, and that'd be the ultimate thing for them to do to prepare for the world. Then it came back to me. Xana didn't get to finish college. She had it all figured out. And this all just came back to me when I was there, and that little girl was on the plane doing that. It's like where I was going, what I was going here for. And then I just realized and thought to myself about the wonderful life that she had and we had together. And I still get out with Jasmine, but that's the part that really counted. It's the part that really counted, is those memories. And those are what I have left, the memories with her and the ones I can make with her, and the life that I can go on with now, which is what she wants. And I say that in present tense because that's what she wants, because I've been told that, I've had countless ways that she's out there and has a way to communicate, which I'm very grateful for. That goes to say that the impact of what happened to them, all 4 kids, goes so much further than just not me, the parents, the families, the community. It goes so far because a lot of kids, you know, in the colleges, just for an example, they locked their doors now. The door wasn't locked in the back. You know, Penn State or wherever it was, all the colleges, I know that I've heard they all lock their doors now. So maybe the impact that it's going to make is going to help out and maybe protect some people. Having this outreach and having the influence of what these kids, what happened to these kids did, you know. All I know is I was 7 miles away when it happened, and she wasn't feeling that good. It was 11:30, and I almost went over to Susanna's to say, and I would have been sitting right there in that couch, and you had to deal with me. So they would have had a chance, and I regret that. I regret not going. But the reason why I didn't is because Susanna said, "Don't be drinking and driving. You have to rental a car. Don't be drinking and driving." You know, the week before that. So she was she would have been mad at me to do that. But I really wish I would have drunk and drove, you know, because they would have had a chance, all 4 of them. At this point, I just have to go on. We're going to go on with everything and make things better in my life, because that's what it's all about. About closure in things. And the part that we miss is Santa, her influence, her smile, the things that she did. And we have the memories left, the great memories. And she just wants us to make more memories and not be sad or upset or shocked or taken for that, you know. And that's what we're going to do. We just have to. That's all I got.
Thank you for your words and your courage, and bless your family.
Next, Kim Coronado would like to address the court.
Thank you, Your Honor. My name is Kim Coronado. I'm Xana's aunt. I was very blessed to have her in my life, in our family. And I thought I had everything in my head, what I wanted to say, but it kind of went out. And I'm always looking for the positive thing, because evil, hate can destroy people. And that's what it started doing with our family. It created anger with our family members. And then I had to look, because Santa was everything that the media, her friends said. She was that fun, loving, high-spirited, beautiful person. And I no longer get to get my nails done with her, have lunch with her. Sorry. But how I look at it now is this tragedy, this horrible tragedy on all of the 4 children, has brought us closer. You united us with your actions. We're united now, and we're stronger than ever. We have family and friends now that we never knew we had. And, you know, this is probably going to bother everybody, but Bryan, I'm here today to tell you I have forgiven you, because I no longer could live with that hate in my heart. And for me to become a better person, I have forgiven you. And anytime you want to talk and tell me what happened, get my number. I'm here, no judgment, because I do have answers or questions that I want you to answer. And I'm here. I'll be that one that'll listen to you. Okay? Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
My name's Stratton Knodel, and I'm Xana's uncle, Jeff's brother. Sitting here today listening to all the stories and feelings and feeling the pain from everybody is a pretty powerful thing. It's each time a statement was read, it sort of would tug into my center core as I felt everybody's anguish. And Xana meant a lot to us, and we loved her very much. But I started thinking about, instead of rehashing everything that everybody else has talked about, I wanted to direct it another direction toward Bryan and what he's done to his family. his parents, his siblings, his friends, his universe. He has contaminated, tainted their family name, and pretty much made a horrible, miserable thing to be ever related to him. And I know that that's what he has to live with, and that has to be his pain. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, I believe Randy Davis, stepfather to Xana Kernodle, would like to address the court.
Hi, my name's Randy, stepdad of Xana. I just feel the same way we all do. All of us are united because of something that happened. And I'm grateful to know and have met some new family because of this awful event. But this is probably the last time we're all going to be in the same room together. Let's be real. So I can say, I love you all, and I feel your pain. And just God bless us all, you know, just get through it. I had stuff wrote up. It was probably best I didn't read it out. Probably get kicked out of here. So, you know, I'll share one thing to you guys, not to you, with Xana. So I was working in North Dakota and came home, and Jazzy and Xana had taken our son Elijah and put him in a dress, makeup, and it was awful, you know. I was like, I don't know. She was funny. I told her she'd be in the movies and be somebody great one day like that. And now she is just above us as an angel with all the other beautiful kids. So let's hold that to our hearts, because this evil thing is not going to take nothing from us. You, man, I don't know what my limits are here, but I'm really struggling, dude. I am struggling. So I want to just be out in the woods with you just so I can teach you about loss and pain. I love God. I wouldn't take your life. That's up to him. But I guarantee you, you are weak. God, I would just give a moment, man, 5 minutes out in the woods. Oh, man. You're going to go to hell. I know people believe in other stuff. You're evil. There's no place for you in heaven. You took our children. You are going to suffer, man. I'm shaking because I want to reach out to you, but I hope you feel my energy, okay? Go to hell.
Next is Kara Northington, Xana's mother.
I'm Kara Northington. I am Xana Kernodle's mother. This letter is to you, really, but it's for my daughter, who was murdered by you. Today I stand before you, the man who is responsible for murdering my beautiful daughter, Xana Kernodle. My daughter was beautiful both inside and out. She possessed love for those around her and had a light so bright it will live on forever in our hearts. She brought joy and laughter to her friends, her family, and anyone in her presence. Our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, now has her in his loving arms in heaven, where she can never be harmed ever again for eternity. Because of her, I came to know my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Because of her, many will come to Christ. It is Christ who lives in me that has given me the strength to forgive you. It was of no power of my own. In return, the Lord has filled me with joy, hope, and peace that surpasses all understanding. Jesus has allowed me to forgive you for murdering my daughter without you even being sorry or asking for this. This is only possible because he who lives in me is greater than any evil in this world. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. I do not fear you or even let you rent space in my head anymore. This forgiveness has released me from any and all evil you have inflicted on me and my family.
It has allowed me to let our Lord deal with you. You have accepted a deal that will prevent you from receiving the death penalty. Nothing man can do to you can ever compare to the wrath of God. Inevitably, you will stand before our Lord and will have to answer to him over the sins you have committed in murdering our children. I pray you come to the end of yourself before that day. Whether you like it or not, heaven is for real and so is hell. The innocent life of Xana that you stole from myself and my family, and the destruction of this, and the destruction it has caused. I am washing my hands of you and turning you over to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, whom vengeance belongs to. In closing, I want to read a passage from the Bible, Ephesians 6, King James Version. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, that ye may be able to stand in the evil day. I'm not going to share memories of Xana or any more of the goodness of her with you, because I do not want that to be in your head. I don't want it to be in your head. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve our good memories that we have. I do pray for you. I pray that you come to the end of yourself. I pray that before this life is over, that you ask our Lord and Savior in your heart and to forgive you. I do pray for that. But after today, I wash my hands of you and you are no longer a thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't believe the state has any other victim impact statements.
Okay. All right, stay and argue.
Okay, y'all give me a second because I'm going to go straight through what the state has to say. Just hear what the judge has to say. I think this is it.
All right, let me start this morning by acknowledging and thanking those that have come here today in support of their loved ones. And I appreciate your courage and your strength. And I hope that you are able to move on as best as possible. Thank counsel for the professionalism that they've exhibited throughout this case. It's been my great honor to preside in this case and to help bring, to the extent possible, some resolution and hopefully justice to this case. During the quiet morning hours of November 13, 2022, a faceless coward breached the tranquility of 6 beautiful young people and senselessly slaughtered them, 4 of them. Who committed this unspeakable evil was unknown for several weeks, but due to the killer's incompetence and outstanding police work by numerous local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, the person that slithered through that sliding glass door at 1122 King Road now stands before the world and this court unmasked. This unfathomable and senseless act of evil has caused immeasurable pain and loss. No parent should ever have to bury their child. This is the greatest tragedy that can be inflicted upon a person. Parents who took their children to college in a truck filled with moving boxes had to bring them home in hearses lined with coffins. The loss this killer inflicted was not just the death of these people's children, siblings, grandchildren, as we've heard today. It has ripped a hole in their soul, destroying a special part of their very essence. Any person who is a parent defines themselves foremost as such. It is their existence and purpose of being. And it has been stolen from these parents. None of us have experienced the loss these victims have in the unspeakable way that they have. And therefore, none of us can, nor should we, question the way in which they have handled their loss. Whether that be in private mourning, removed as far as possible from this media circus, or in front of a camera demanding retribution with the loudest megaphone. I've listened intently to the stories and pain that have been shared today, with great awe at the courage and resilience of the surviving family members of those wonderful children. I've listened also to the surviving roommates, both in person and through their friends. And I can't think of how, frankly, courageous they have been despite the hell that they have faced by uncaring people who have come up with all kinds of crazy theories about two kids simply being kids. The parents, siblings, and other family members who have spoken today are designated as victims in our legal system. But going forward, I hope that they can shed that label, as it gives too much power to the evil that condemned them to that role. They are and should be known as survivors, fighters, and foremost as witnesses to the tremendous lives of value and unbounded promise of these four young people. But those speaking today and those who did not speak, but who carry the same burden, this same loss, now carry forward the memories of these now perpetually young people, these forever children. These survivors carry the responsibility of ensuring that the voices of these children, Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan, are never forgotten, and the positive impacts that they have had on so many lives are never minimized, and that the love they shared, the light that they shined onto others is forever celebrated. As we sit here today, this case is ending, and we are now certain who committed these unspeakable acts of evil, but we don't know, and what we may never know is why. I share the desire expressed by others to understand the why, but upon reflection, it seems to me, and this is just my own opinion, that by continuing to focus on why, we continue to give Mr. Kohberger relevance. We give him agency, and we give him power. The need to know what is inherently not understandable makes us dependent upon the defendant to provide us with a reason, and that gives him the spotlight, the attention, and the power he appears to crave. Yet even if I could force him to speak, which legally I cannot, how could anyone ever be assured that what he speaks is the truth? Do we really believe, after all of this, he's capable of speaking the truth or of giving up something of himself to help the very people whose lives he destroyed? Rather, I suspect the so-called self-serving and aggrandizing untruthful bits, leaving people wanting more information, more insight, and thus enhancing even further the power he seeks to hold. Even if we could get truthful insight into his why, I suspect it would not in any way quench one's thirst for actually understanding why in the first instance. Because there is no reason for these crimes that could approach anything resembling rationality. No conceivable reason could make any sense. And in the end, the more we struggle to seek explanation for the unexplainable, the more we try to extract a reason, the more power and control we give to him. In my view, the time has now come to end Mr. Kohberger's 15 minutes of fame. It's time that he be consigned to the ignominy and isolation of perpetual incarceration. I know there has been concern about him collaborating on books or movies or other media projects, and I truly hope that someone does not stoop to affording him this spotlight that he desires in the name of clicks, royalties, or profits. While criminal behavioralists should study him away from the spotlight in an attempt to prevent other would-be killers from acting on their worst impulses, there should be no need for that to spill over into the public eye. The great Idaho jurist Edward Lodge was known for trying to find something positive about every person he ever sentenced. And with over a half a century as a trial judge, that was a lot of people. This was often challenging, and I recall in one case he said that the best he could come up with was the defendant had good penmanship. Truth be told, I'm unable to come up with anything redeeming about Mr. Kohberger because his grotesque acts of evil have buried and hidden anything that might have been good or intrinsically human about him. His actions have made him the worst of the worst. Even in pleading guilty, he is giving nothing hinting of remorse or redemption, nothing suggesting even a recognition or understanding, let alone regret for the pain that he has caused. And therefore, I will not attempt to speak about him further, other than to simply sentence him so that he is forever removed from civilized society. And accordingly, based upon his conduct and based upon the record before this court, recognizing the standards that govern this court's sentencing decisions as set forth in State v. Hill, I hereby sentence Mr. Kohberger as follows. On count 1, burglary, 10 years fixed, 0 years indeterminate. I also impose a fine of $50,000. Count 2, first-degree murder of Madison Mogen. I sentence the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim. On count 3, for first-degree murder of Kaylee Gonzalez, I sentence the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the victim of the family, or to the family of the victim, pardon me. On count 4, for the first-degree murder of Xana Carnot, I sentence the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim. On count 5, for the first-degree murder of Ethan Chapin, I sentence the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim. The sentences on counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 shall run consecutively to one another. Restitution will be left open for 60 days. Defendant will be required to submit a DNA sample and a right thumb print impression to the Department of Corrections and comply with the DNA Database Act. I remand the defendant to the custody of the Idaho State Board of Corrections for to be imprisoned in an appropriate facility and execution of the sentence where he will remain until he dies. Though you've waived your right to appeal, you do have a right to file a notice of appeal, and any such appeal must be filed within 42 days of the date of the written judgment, which will be entered shortly hereafter. Though the appeal, you should be aware, may be deemed a violation of the plea agreement, and so I certainly suggest you discuss that with counsel if that is your desire. I ask the media and public present to allow the families to be escorted out first before they leave. Again, thank you to everyone for your stories today. I am strengthened by them, and I am encouraged by your humanity and strength. And God bless you. We're adjourned.
Okay, y'all. Get this up. Okay. That was long, y'all. I know, but I know some people didn't get to watch it all today. What was that, Betty Jo?
What happened to Avery?
I don't know. I realized like when we got halfway through it, she wasn't on the panel anymore. I was about to. Oh, I'm about to get off of here in a few minutes. I am going to post just on. You're very welcome. These two links in the chat real quick if anybody wants to grab them. It is the Gonzalez family's press conference after I should play Steve's speech outside. Well, hold on. We can do that real quick. This is not very long. Give me just a second. Oh, shit. Wait, why is it not working?
I liked when Olivia she humiliated him in front of everybody.
She did. She really did. Okay. Let me pull this up real quick. Okay, y'all let me know if y'all want to hear this.
The families as they answer your questions. Thanks so much.
Can y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's almost been 3 years, and today's the end of a long, hard-fought battle. But we have our person, and we have We have him where he belongs. So for that, we are thankful for all the men and women that put the work together, put this case together. And once it's part of the court system, it was a little ugly, but we got that conviction, and we're glad to be moving on. Glad we can move on.
Steve, the family or the judge talked about how we may never know why, and it may not be worth it to try to answer the why with something so sensitive. You can't make sense of it. What do you feel about that?
There's some truth to that, but then, there's also the fact that, what would he tell as a lie as to opposed to the truth, so.
The knife, if he gave the knife up, or if he gave a part of his kill kit, if he gave out facts that only the killer would know,
it would corroborate things.
It would corroborate things. And he even addressed there's been way too many conspiracies, and the surviving witnesses had to go through hell. Well, no better way to protect them than by getting some of those details. If you got those details, then, as simple as just saying I did it solo would have been, valuable, I think. And, we stand by the negotiation wasn't justice. It was just a shortcut. And we said from the very beginning, we're not interested in a shortcut for our daughter. We wanted everything.
Steve, you turned the podium at one point. Talk to us about why you wanted to stare at him face to face.
Because he's a coward. He's been protected by the court from day one, the minute that he was arrested. So I wanted to let him know that I was directing everything towards him, and his days of being protected are coming to an end. From what I've been explained, he gets on a van today, and he's got like 11, 12-minute ride, and then he'll be the responsibility of Idaho State.
Were you planning on turning the podium though, or did you do that at the moment?
I remember reading it saying, "Do not move." So I was like, "Well, I'm moving this." I just kind of made that decision right then and there. So, I want to make it as difficult as possible. I knew my daughter was going to do a speech, and I'd heard it, and I was like, "He's going to hate this. He's going to hate this next set of people that are going to come forward and really rip into him and really expose him for what kind of a piece of trash he was." And we've been waiting a long time to say some of those things that needed to be said.
Stephen Jr., you chose not to speak. Speak now, is that
I've written up a statement. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe this is where you do.
Okay. Well, allow me a second.
Maybe it wasn't court appropriate.
Yeah, it wasn't. Definitely wasn't. My name's Stephen Gonzalez. I'm Kaylee's older brother. She was my little sister, my friend, the middle child in the heart of our family. There are no words that can fully describe her spirit. But if you knew her, you knew joy, you knew light, you knew someone who made everything better just by being in the room. My statement was largely grounded in one goal, and that was to do everything for anyone who listens to this and has to go through something similar, to not have to endure what we had. My family's fought tirelessly, not just for answers, but for accountability. We've stood in front of cameras, behind closed doors, and across from people who didn't want us to speak, but we did, and we won't stop now. Across nearly every murder case prosecuted by Bill Thompson, including the killing of University of Idaho football player Eric McMillan, there is a clear and troubling pattern. Families are left feeling unheard, justice is negotiated down through plea deals, and the public is left with unanswered questions. In the McMillan case, charges were reduced from first-degree to second-degree murder, prompting confusion and outrage from the victim's family and community. The same pattern is emerged in the Silas Parks and John Lee cases, both of which prosecuted by Bill Thompson. For capital-eligible crimes were resolved through plea agreements, sidestepping trials and diminishing public accountability. The most egregious of these crimes was the brutal killing of Whitney Parks, a young pregnant woman whose life was taken by her husband, Silas Parks, during a violent domestic assault. Whitney was only 22 years old. Whitney was beaten and strangled in her own home, an act of cruelty that not only ended her life, but also the life of her unborn child. And yet, despite the devastating nature of this crime, Bill Thompson reduced the charges from murder to voluntary manslaughter, ultimately securing a sentence that allowed Parks the possibility of parole after just 5 years. There was no trial, no full accounting of what Whitney endured, no acknowledgement in the legal outcomes of the child she was carrying. For Whitney's family, for anyone who believes that justice system should speak forcefully for victims, this wasn't justice. It was a deal, and it was like so many others under Thompson's watch. It prioritized expedience over accountability. Now, almost predictably, we find ourselves reliving that pattern in the current case. Despite the magnitude and brutality of the crime, the prosecution chose to accept a plea deal behind closed doors, without trial, without ever consulting our family in any meaningful way. In fact, we learned from the plea deal that had been finalized from an email from the prosecution team. Not in person, not with warning, not with respect. That moment underscored what we feared all along, and that this case was following the same well-worn path toward expedience over justice. Sentencing once again fails to reflect the severity of the act, and the emotional fallout has landed again on the shoulders of the victims' families, who have been left out, unheard, and grieving not just a horrific loss, but a system that continues to bypass them. The through line is undeniable. Whether it's 2004 or 2025, this prosecutional, is that a word? Sorry. Prosecutional approach has consistently abandoned the very approach it is, or the very people it is supposed to protect. The trend you'll notice from Thompson's prosecuted crimes are the following: plea bargains avoiding capital punishment, charge reductions, sentences that misalign with the gravity of the crime, lack of trial due to plea bargains. These aren't just failures in process, they're failures that have real consequences for real people. After reviewing Bill Thompson's history, it's clear our family was never given a fair chance at justice. But this isn't just about a prosecutor's record. It's about Kaylee. It's about my sister. She's not just one of the Idaho 4. She was a daughter, a sister, a best friend, and the light in every room she walked into. When the prosecution followed the same path we've seen before, closed doors, limited input, and a plea deal handed down without our voice, it became painfully clear that Kaylee was being treated just like another case. But she wasn't. She was everything to us, and our pain has only deepened, knowing that the system didn't fight for her the way she deserved. I'll leave everyone with this. There's 1,000 things I wish I could say to Kaylee, but today I'll just say this. I will always carry her with me for the rest of my life, and I will never stop being her brother.
Steve,
thank you.
Now that the gag order is lifted, is there anything that you've learned over the last 2.5 years from the investigators or the prosecutors that you can share with us now that you can speak about?
Well, I think it was kind of interesting that once the president sent a truth statement out, they called us right up and they told us everything. So I don't know what was holding them back before, but we spent about 3 hours, close to 3 hours with the lead detectives, and we found because our main thing was we didn't want to have victims advocate statements that had lies and misquotes and misinformation in it. So I appreciate the president, putting a little bit of pressure on there, and it seemed to work. Up until that time, they told us they were not going to tell us, and we were going to have to just wait for the things to be unsealed. But yeah, it was horrific what Kaylee went through. And I don't want to protect this guy, but I won't give out all the details. I'll be general. But yeah, she was stabbed over 30 plus times, and she was struck, and there was quite a bit of damage to her face. So this guy's just an absolute monster. Anyone who thinks that he's otherwise, I just looked at pure demons out there. When I was looking at him, we had a stare down, and he's just filled with demons. He's dark pits of eyes, and there's something seriously wrong with that man.
Steve, why was it important for you to look him directly in the eyes? And what did you see as you spoke to him?
I looked him straight in the eyes, and I just seen black holes and just anger at me. He was telling me with his face that he fucking hated me. He absolutely fucking hated me.
And why did you want to speak to him directly that way?
It's the most personal one. Like,
Yeah,
look at me in my eye. You took my daughter's life. Look at me.
Did your family get something today that it needed? Or was this?
Yeah, 100%.
It's a little early to actually even answer that for myself. I think that kind of stuff needs to set in and sink in, and you regret maybe saying some things, or you wish that you would have said things. So I think right now we're just kind of in the mix of the tornado and the real feelings.
As the spotlight then fades, what do you want the public to remember?
Our main thing is hopefully this could be a template for another family that, you can use the media as much as they're using you. You can use it to keep people accountable, keep people honest, keep the court system, treating you with a little bit of respect. And I think that's what we did. And the more that you get active, I think the more chance that you're going to get that justice in the end. I think you really got to try to make your kids stand out, or whoever you're trying to protect, you make them real. Get on the internet and talk to people.
Before you go, and I know you want to go, I want to ask Olivia today was spectacular. But Olivia asked the question, what was the other weapon you used on my sister? So despite this meeting you had with the prosecutors, there still sounds like there's something we don't know there. Can you explain that to us?
No, we do know that another weapon was used on Kaylee. So we don't know what that weapon was, but
they didn't recover it.
Along with the knife wasn't recovered, but Kaylee was not just stabbed. There was other things that happened to Kaylee.
Talk about that a little. The conversation we had with the prosecution was about healing more than anything. It was about giving the victims' families answers. And they may share some of that information at a later date, but today is not the day for that. Today is about the sentencing. It's about putting the defendant in prison for the rest of his life. So there may be more details to come about that, but that conversation that they had was about the healing process and finding some answers that they had. And so we may share at a later date, but today is not the day. Okay?
Thank you guys for being available.
Thanks.
Shannon.
Today.
All right, y'all. Just not have a wonderful night.
So heartbreaking.
Yes. Let me get all this stuff off my screen up here, y'all. I'm like just on and Dan. I'm about to pass out. I'm so tired.
All right, I'm gonna come down.
Okay, well, thank you for coming up.
Yep. No problem.
All right, well, have a good night.
You too. Good night. Good night, everybody.
So, y'all, thank God this is over with, but I still don't agree with how it ended. Still don't agree with the plea deal, but it is now over with. I will go through the documents that were or police reports that were released by Moscow PD, and find some that are not so graphic, and we may go over some of those tomorrow night. Avery, have a good night. King, have a good night. So I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. I've got to try to get some sleep. Courtney, have a wonderful night. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out. I do apologize. I was not here last night, like I said I would be, but they took my internet out. The damn tractor did. And then I had to end up pushing the live back tonight because I had something come up. But I love you all. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Faber, have a good night.